Hello and welcome to another edition of my Inside Network Marketing video blog. This is Len Clements. I'm the founder of MarketWave. This one is one that I want to just kind of get out of the way here because I really want to get to some recent developments in the industry involving this burn lounge case with the Ninth Circuit Court, and also another case that no one seems to be even knowledgeable of that the Ninth Circuit just came out with in Medifast versus Minkow, which is very impactful for the industry as well too. But as a matter of course, anytime I do a review of a company, I always do a video blog follow-up where I kind of recap it. So I want to do that for Wake Up Now because that's the review that I just did and published several days ago. I was holding off a little on this one because I was hoping that I would get some kind of response from them, because this is one of the very few reviews I've ever done where the subject did not want to participate. They actually declined the opportunity to work with me on this and to answer any of my questions and try to get my facts straight. So I thought maybe they would offer some kind of rebuttal or something so I could fix what I changed before I comment on it on a video, and or defend whatever I said. But so far I've heard nothing but commentary on the message boards and some private emails from some of their reps, their IBOs they call themselves, which have been not very kind. On the message boards not so bad, but some of the private ones, I wouldn't actually call them death threats, although I think some of them would like to. I had 7 death threats in the 90s and 1 in the early O's and none since, so I don't know, maybe I'm just not doing my job anymore or something. But apparently I didn't piss anybody off quite that much. But they were pretty ugly in some of their comments. So I want to just make it clear right up front before I get into this that and this is off the subject, but it just hit me. I was on a Google Hangout the other day, and people I was talking to made me aware of the fact that this image that you see peripherally, you see a lot more than what I'm seeing on my screen. So I don't know if I need to explain this or not, but I'll just get this out of the way. Yes, that is a Selena Gomez calendar. It was a gag gift from my brother for my birthday. Of course, yeah, I am using it though. But I'm a fan. But, if I were just 10 years younger and she were just 10 years older, actually that'd still be creepy. But anyway, and I don't know if this is showing up, but this is actually a gift from a consulting client I have in Brazil. This is a Brazilian packaging and shipping company whose name apparently doesn't translate well to English. But so I don't know if I needed to explain all that, if it's showing up or not. But anyway, get that out of the way. I was paid to do this review by 4 competitors of Wake Up Now. Now, as you know, when I finished the Empower Network review that I did, which took about 5 months, 6.5 hours of interviews with corporate. A lot of research there. They were very helpful in helping me get my facts straight. And I said at the end of that one that I'm never going to do another one of these for free, because I literally gave them several $1,000s of compliance consulting for free. And so never going to do that again. Now since then, I've gotten a number of companies that have said, hey Len, we'll hire you to turn your magnifying glass on us privately. Do a review of us. Let us know what that would look like. I think that would be very helpful, which I think is kind of cool. I'm working with a company doing that right now. But in this case, this was rather unusual. First time it's happened, where a group of other companies said, we're going to pay you to do this review publicly on a competitor. And I thought, well, this review is obviously going to take a credibility hit because I was paid to do it. So it's going to look like I made it negative on purpose. So that's why I kind of went, first of all, there's full disclosure in the review. It's in the website in the article section. There's a link down below to it. To where, I disclosed that I've been paid to do this. And it's and I told these other companies, I said, look, there's no guarantee this is going to be negative. What if it's positive? And they'll say, we'll take that risk and call it like you see it. That was their exact words. So I said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to couch it one way or the other. I'm going to call it like I see it. And I kind of understand now why they were going to take that risk, because it's not that positive. But I didn't have to put much effort into it. But what I actually hoped I could do was make it positive, because I would stand a lot to gain that way. That actually had an incentive to make it positive. I get paid either way. That was the deal. But if I made it positive, in spite of the fact competitors paid me for it, I would gain all kinds of credibility. So I was kind of hoping it would be positive and really wanted it to be, but not so much. But anyway, so if anyone out there says, well, I'm only bagging on them because I was paid to or whatever, all I ask you to do, I'll make it easy just like I did in the review. I'll cop to everything you're accusing me of. All of you sent me nasty emails or whatever. You're right. I'm the greatest scumbag in the world. I was bought out. I sold my credibility and my honor, and I'm the world's biggest lying scumbag you've ever. Fine. I'm all of those things. Why am I wrong? That's what I'm still trying to find out. Not one person has pointed out one thing in that review that's wrong. So I get to have my opinions, but if there's anything factually or technically in there that I got wrong, please somebody just tell me. I'll fix it. I swear. But anyway, let's just dive into this. One other point I want to make before I get into this. No stalling here, but what I've been paid for is done. I was paid to write and publish this review. It's done. So anything, this commentary right here and anything else, I don't think there's going to be any more commentary. As far as I'm concerned, this is the last I'm going to talk about Wake Up Now, unless something major happens to them or something. This will be the end of it. But this is on me. No one's paying me for this video review, this recap or whatever. All right? This one's entirely my opinion. No one's compensating me. I didn't have to do this for anybody. I just do it because I like to do video recaps of the reviews I do. So this wasn't part of the deal, right? No one's paying me for this video. Their products. Let's start with that. They have basically two major products. One is called a platinum package. Now they have a silver package and a gold package. I'm not even going to count those because those are throw-ins. You're obviously not supposed to buy them on their website when you order. Not only do they highly encourage you to buy the platinum package, they actually discourage you from buying the other two blatantly. So I mean, those are nothing. That's just window dressing. It's a platinum package for $100 a month, $99.95 a month, which is 90 CV, exactly what you need to qualify for everything in the plan. This platinum package is made up of a bunch of other already existing online products that you can go straight to the vendors and buy them from for the same price. There's not even special deals here or something. And the combination of all of these products, if you were to go to each one of them individually and pay for it, don't add up to $99.95. In fact, it adds up to significantly less than that. For example, there's TaxBot, Sandy Botkin's online tax tracking service that you can pay for on a monthly basis, which is actually a really great product, unto itself. Invices, which is online security and ID protection and things like that. There's the online finance tracking for personal financing and things like that. And if you want to learn a language, there's an online language program. A very disparate sort of hodgepodge of products. If you want to get deals on, an iPad or, something you want to buy online, you can look for all the best deals. And there's a travel club for all the best travel deals. I get free grocery coupons and all of this stuff's thrown in. And again, for the same price, you just go directly to the vendor. And even the free deals. I mean, I proved, you can see in the review, where I just picked the first 5 things that they said here's their great deal price, and I clicked on Google Shopping right at the top of the Google menu there, and in a matter of minutes found better deals for every single one of them. So why would anyone purchase for $100 a month all of this hodgepodge of products unless, even if they were in the market for every single one of those products, it wouldn't make sense to do them in this combined package? But think about that. That means someone would have to actually be in the market for an online tax tracking system. I want to go buy those one now. I want to find one. Oh, there's TaxBot. That's a good one. Plus, I want Invices. I want online security and ID security. I'm looking for that too. I also want online finance. I also want to learn how to speak Spanish. I'm in the market for all of those things. Who is in the market for all of those things? And even if you are, it still isn't worth it buying it from this package than to go to each of them individually. And even if you are just in for 1 or 2 of them you really want, and you don't want the rest, again, it would make absolutely no sense to buy this package. So it would appear to me, and this is obviously just my opinion and speculation, but this package is designed for people to buy to meet their 90 CV quota in the compensation plan. And I suspect very few people, if anyone, ever has purchased it strictly for the value of the product alone. Explain where that comes into play when we get a little bit to the end here when we talk about the legal issues. Their other big product is called Thunder, or part of their Awaken line, their energy drink line, which they added in March. Like I said, there's very disparate sort of hodgepodge of products here. They brag about the fact that it's $2 a can, which is high average for the store, but competitive to stores, and definitely lower than average for the MLM market. But if you have to buy a 24 pack for $48, and only half of it's commissionable. $48, only 24 of it's commissionable. That's one way they can make it $2. But the main way is because, and you can just simply look at the ingredients label, the supplement panel. It's it's just carbonated caffeine water with some flavoring. All the things you normally see in an energy drink, like the taurine and all the amino acids and stuff like that, they're just not in there. They do have some B vitamins, but as I explained in the review, B vitamins only give you energy if you have a B vitamin deficiency, which is almost impossible to have for a first world country nowadays. I mean, you literally could eat, and I showed the proof of this in the review, you could eat a Big Mac 3 times a day and get all the vitamin B12 you need. Junk food gives you all your B12. I mean, it's hard to have a vitamin B12 deficiency, or B6, that's the other one. So that's thrown in, but it doesn't hardly do anything much for anybody, plus B vitamins are relatively cheap. So it's a very cheap formulation, which is why it's probably a much lower price. But anyway, the biggest concern I have about that is that, and I got this from a very reliable inside source. Like I said, corporate wouldn't help with me, but I got some other people that did try. And that the first run of this Thunder energy drink completely sold out before a single product was shipped. So what was their motive for buying it? This is a key question. It'll come into play a little bit later. What was the motive for buying this product? Could it be that it tasted so good or give them so much energy and it just worked so well? How can it be when not a single person who ordered that product had ever actually used the product? Now, some might say, well, then it was a new product. Maybe they were curious. A lot of companies, when they come out with a new product, people will not wait for their auto ship because they're anxious to try the product. So they'll put in an extra order for that new product. That's great, but this is anecdotal, but there does seem to be a lot of evidence that a lot of people bought 4 24 packs, which is what you need to get to 90 CV. You don't need 4 24 packs just to test a new product. So, yeah, and now this they went on back order, and now they're announcing, at least last time I looked, that you can go ahead and pre-order the next run, and they'll still count it towards your qualifications, which I assume means they still pay commissions on it too, which means they're just paying on cash, but I have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is, I know merchant services accounts, banks, have a rule that you can't charge someone for something and if you're not going to ship the product within 48 hours. So are they counting it towards qualifying and then not charging anyone and paying commission on it, or are they paying commission on it and charging them and then waiting for them to ship it? Something's not right about that. But anyway, I discuss all the implications in the review. Just check it out. One other quick product, they have the Trevani line, a skincare line. The thing about that kind of baffles me is that Trevani was an MLM company. It was launched by the wife of Aditi Maurer, the wife of Tom Maurer, who started New Ways, and it went out of business. It's gone, and then RX picked up the Trevani line, the skincare line. And then for whatever reason, they dumped it. And now whoever actually owns it, I forget the name of the company, it's in the review, whoever actually owns the line now have sold it to Wake Up Now. And Wake Up Now is promoting it as an exclusive formulation just for Wake Up Now. So if they've reformulated it, because if it's exclusive for Wake Up Now, it's got to be different than the one it was with RX or Trevani. So if you completely reformulated it and it's technically a different product, why would you use the same brand name as the company that went out of business and then the other companies dumped the line? I would think, even if they didn't reformulate it, wouldn't you want to come up with a different name for it than that one, the dead company that the other companies dumped? Anyway, if it's anywhere close to the Trevani line formulation, they're probably good products, because I actually tried them back then. The original formulation, anyway, of Trevani products actually were pretty good. Moving on here, it's a public company. it was a reverse merger a few years ago, and so they became public. They don't have nearly enough volume in their trading activity. It's a penny stock to be required to report to the SEC. So if you do an Edgar search on the SEC site, you won't see any of their disclosures, but that's fine. They're not required to legally yet. But whenever there is any type of increase in volume in their trading activity, they are really compelled to put out some disclosures and say, hey, all you people buying our stock, you really need to know what the condition is of this company, so here's our disclosures. To their credit, they did that. About 3 years ago, there was all of a sudden this pop in trading activity. Thousands of shares had started getting traded when there was weeks of no trading activity at all, not a single share. The price went from 2 cents to over $10 one day, and then just went right back down the other side of the bell curve to zero trading activity again, back to a penny stock. I don't think that's what they call a pump and dump scheme. I explained that in the review, but for anyone thinking about that, the timing doesn't line up. All the pumping of it, there was nothing more pumped then than any other time, and I don't think it was a pump and dump scheme. I don't know what it was. It wasn't. I don't think it was that. But but at that time they said, okay, so we got to put out a public disclosure and put out our financials and things like that, like a public company is supposed to do, and they did, which was great. So they told you the previous couple of years of finances. Now the same thing happened again last March, right about the time this new product came out. Suddenly, again, goes from a penny stock to several dollars a share, thousands of shares getting traded over several days. The stock gets really active again, and now it's completely, died off again. Pump and dump scheme, I don't see it, because all the pumping of this company started about March of 2013, a year ago. Other than this one new energy drink coming out, I don't see a lot of additional pumping going on. I don't think a new energy drink is going to get a bunch of people to buy their stock. But to their credit, they did come out with their 2013 financials in a public, kind of like, not really a 10K like you should do, but a lot of detailed information about their company, which is great. And in these disclosures now, we see that this company that launched in 2009 has lost about they made about 18 million in sales, and they've lost about 10 million. And in 2013, their sales were an all-time record. They had done more than double all of the previous years combined in sales, but yet their losses increased to a record $4.5 million. So even with skyrocketing sales and the sort of momentum kind of growth that they've been experiencing, losses are still going up. Now they claim it's because they're pumping all of their profits back into the business to expand the infrastructure for all this future growth they're going to have. And they keep using Amazon.com as an example of a company that lost millions in the beginning that's now $1 billion company, but which is still losing millions of dollars to this day. I shouldn't be using that as an example. But anyway, the net assets, or the fixed assets, I should say. Fixed assets, not going up that much. If all this millions of dollars were going back into the infrastructure, we would see fixed assets or some kind of assets, expanding proportionally. And it's just not there. It looks like this money is just going straight into this company and straight out the other end, about as fast as it comes in my opinion, because of just too much overhead and an overheating compensation plan that just pays out way too much, which I'll get to in a minute. There's just too much expenses in the company. But anyway, now they are expanding to some extent. I mean, you can see videos online of them working on the home office and open up new wings and stuff like that. So maybe in 2014, some of their losses can be accounted for that. But in 2013, what they're reporting in their disclosures just belays the theory that it's putting back into infrastructure expansion. It's just not there. So, yeah, they're losing a lot of money. They brag a lot about their transparency. Like, isn't this really cool that we put out these financials and we're so honest and open, because even though we're losing all these millions of dollars, we tell the truth. Except that you're a public company, so you're supposed to do that. That's not something special. Now you got a lot of trading activity. You're compelled to put out your disclosures. So that's not anything special or because of some kind of increased transparency. It's what you're supposed to do when you're a public company. In fact, you're supposed to do it a little more often than they're doing it. Now again, they're not legally required to. I get that, but they're just doing what they're supposed to do. And they also talk about they have this income disclosure statement. And what they said in their 2013, annual disclosure statement, which would have been produced well after the point in time in which they really hired a lot of very good consultant, compliance consultants, legal consultants, things like that they could have used. I mean, Troy Dooley and Kevin Thompson are already on board by this time. So they had plenty of good advice here on this. So I don't know if this is an honest mistake or what's going on, but what they said in that report was that these income disclosure statements are required by the Federal Trade Commission, and you had to submit them. Every MLM company has to submit them to the Federal Trade Commission by requirement of the FTC. And aren't they special because we're making ours public, and we don't do ours annually, we do it quarterly. Well, except for the fact that that's just completely wrong. The Federal Trade Commission does not require MLM companies to do does not require them to do income disclosure statements. Only companies that want to protect their distributors when they make income claims. And there are a couple of dozen companies that do this. They voluntarily create an income disclosure statement that breaks down what percentage of distributors earn which rank and how much their average earnings are, and sometimes amount of months it takes to get there, all that kind of stuff. They put that in there so if you make an income statement, you can then reference the income disclosure, and you do it the proper way, you can make an income statement. That's the legal way to do it. So some companies voluntarily produce this. They never have to send it to the FTC. The FTC does not require it. And there are some companies, like Empower Network, for example, that publish theirs in real time, not just quarterly. I mean, it changes throughout the day. Now, quarterly is better than annually. So, kudos to Wake Up Now for doing it quarterly. That is better. But it's not like something that's special because they've made theirs public and it should have been something they sent to the FTC. It's not required by the FTC. But only a couple dozen companies do it. They are one of them. So they should get credit for the fact that at least they're one of them. Now, they're publicly traded. So again, it's all going to come out in their disclosures anyway. But they do it. They do it quarterly. That is better. So it's good they're doing it, but just not as good as what they're claiming it is. They're just doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, so then let's just jump to the comp plan. This is going to go on forever. I don't want to do the whole review here on video. It's supposed to be a recap. The compensation plan is kind of a unilevel plan, and if you start off everybody starts off as a preferred customer, and even if you go online and just sign up for free, just fill out the form and do nothing after that, you're counted as a preferred customer. Now, if you actually recruit someone, you recruit another distributor, and you become what they call a Director 1, a D1. And then you recruit another distributor, you become a D2. You get a rank advance where you can put a 2 at the end of your rank instead of a 1. That's all you get. You still don't participate in the compensation plan at all. Okay, so you could have actually 2 people sponsored and a little bit of a downline going. In fact, 2 people sponsored and a huge downline, possibly. And you make nothing. You cannot participate in the compensation plan yet until you sponsor your third person. Then you become a Director 3. You get 3 people that do their little $99.95 a month. You get $100. So it pays for yours, right? You break even essentially when you get 3. But you don't have to apply to be a distributor, an IBO, until you've got that third person. Why? With 1 or 2 people, you can't make any money in the comp plan, so why would anyone bother to sign up to be a distributor and play in the comp plan until you get your third person? This will come into play a little bit too later. So anyway, once you get to a D3, you get $100. Now, if each of those 3 people get their 3, and each of them get their $100, you make $600 from 12 people. And that is pretty cool. Okay? I've seen a lot of companies where you can make $600 with 12 people if you front load the 12 people with a couple of grand worth of product, but 12 people just doing $100 a month, 90 CV, make $600. That's a pretty fast, relatively simple way to make $600. However, like I say in the review, most sentences that start with however don't end well. If you ever watch these reviews or look at my video, like, don't do a drinking game out of the amount of times I say however or anyway, either of those words, because alcohol poisonings can be deadly. But anyway, if I'm trying to do the math here in a simple way, because I always over-explain things and people don't get what I'm saying. Okay, think about this. 12 people 90 CV each. That's 1,080 CV amongst those 12 people. That's what the company has to commission, 1,080. You make 600. The 3 people frontline to you each make 100. That's 900 of it right there. So this is what I call an illusionary benefit based on the illusion that you're the only one that receives the benefit. So if you're that person that wants to make $600, and according to my market wave surveys, that's about 8% of you, not insignificant. I've probably heard this many times. I've done this survey, like 7,700 responses now, so it's good data. The question was asked, how much would you have to earn where you consider yourself successful? Not your dream goal, but what are you really after, your primary income goal here? 8% said a few $100s a month, supplemental income. 6% said $1 million a year, or $84,000 a month, which means 6% obviously misunderstood the question on the survey. They'd probably still call themselves successful if they only made $50,000 a month. 86% said, I want to make enough money to quit my job and do this for a living, to live off my residual income. It was always a time freedom issue. They quantified that as between $7,000 and $11,000 a month. Counting inflation, probably a little bit more than that over the years. What they are looking for, although the vast majority don't know it, is what's called a middle-weighted compensation plan. Just enough to make a good, comfortable living, not get rich, not, I'll work a little harder to get to break even, maybe build twice as big a downline to make $1 million, in lieu of a better chance of just making enough money to quit my job. That's what the vast majority of people are looking for. I would suggest the 6% are in there too, so call it 92%. Well, if you're part of the 8% that wants to make a few $100s a month, this is a perfect plan for you. This is only the easiest $600 you're ever going to make. But if you're part of the other 92%, this is a horrible plan for you, because think about it. If that 1,080 from those 12 people, 900 of it, almost close to 90% of that, is going to just those 4 people, how much more is left to go to anyone upline? So again, it's great for you, but think about all those people in your downline as you form a big downline that are all also qualifying for those $600 Founder 3 bonuses, which means their front 3 people all get 100. There's nothing left to come up to you. It's almost all getting paid out to those 4 people. Now, there will be people who will and have rebutted this by saying, oh, but this guy's making $45,000 a month, then you're wrong. Here's the however on that one. At the very back end of the plan, they have some bonus pools, some pretty healthy ones, like 5.5%, 7%, things like that. And right now, at the top several ranks of their plan, they literally have a handful. You can count on one hand the number of people who've reached those ranks. Some there's no one there. The top rank, last I looked, no one was qualified for it yet. And you know when only one person's qualified for the rank when you look at their income disclosure and the lowest number and the highest number and the average are all the same number. That means there's one person at that rank. So when you're the only one at the rank, which means there's so few people in that huge bonus pool, yeah, you're going to make a really big bonus from that bonus pool, not from this downline thing I'm talking about, not from the unilevel. And that is not sustainable. As more and more people qualify for those top ranks and start getting all of these shares, and there's multiple shares earned once you get there, like you can earn up to 10 shares, one person, it's going to get defrayed so much, it's going to get watered down and diluted so much that those huge incomes they're making now are going to just plummet. So so it's kind of deceptive when you see some of the higher incomes they're talking about out there. It's not coming from this little downline of people. So there's virtually no front end of the plan. You don't make anything until you get your 3rd person. Now, think about this. Of all of the MLM companies out there, all of them, what percentage do you think of distributors recruit 0, 1, or 2 people? 90%? 95%? I mean, we think, well, the average is 2.6, Len. Well, that average is deceptive because, again, you could have 10 people, 9 recruit no one, and 1 recruits 20. The average is 2, even though no one recruited 2. That's kind of how MLM does. You get a little percentage of people that recruit tons of people, and most people recruit no one. So 0, 1, or 2, all those people, the giant bulk of your distributor base, can't even participate in the compensation plan here. And even with a little downline, they make nothing. Which, by the way, strongly incentivizes buying packages for people to get to your 3rd person, bonus buying they call it. So this plan can be manipulated easily in many different ways besides that one, another flaw in it. But so you've got all these people that are at, making the $600, but there's nothing in the middle either. So all those people, nothing in the front. Then you get to break even. Then you get to a really fast 600, but then trying to get higher to that middle range income where you can quit your job, live. It's going to be extremely hard in this plan. It's just there's not much in the middle either because, again, $900 out of 1,080, it's almost all at the Director 3 and Founder 3 level. That's virtually most of the plan right there. So, again, if you want to make $100, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying that that's insignificant. A lot of people, that's all they're happy with. $500 net, I mean, that could be life-changing to a lot of people. So I'm not diminishing that. But I know that many of these people are thinking, if I can make $600 with 12 people, I can make $6,000 with 120. It's not how it works. Okay? It's not going to work that way. So, let's jump into it. But before I get into the legal thing and wrap this up, the compliance actually in this company is pretty good. And probably Troy and Kevin have a lot to do with that. The way they teach it, and I saw this one video at a group meeting where their CEO, Kirby Langer, he's actually making all of these income claims and everything. And I'm thinking like, oh, come on, Kirby, where's the income disclosure? And then boom, there it is. And he uses it as a teaching moment. Like, this is what you need to do when you make these claims. Use this. And I've seen a lot of distributors not do it right, but graded on a curve, because most distributors don't get this right, they're actually better than average. Their distributors really, for the most part, in general, compared to other companies, are doing a fairly good job of using that disclosure properly. So I think they're being trained well, and good for them for doing that. But again, not enough. More of them need to be using it because it only takes one claim to get somebody in trouble. The legal thing. We know now more than ever with this Ninth Circuit decision that just came up recently, we'll talk about in the next video, that what state and federal regulators are looking for is motive. There's no 50% rule, 70% rule. There's nothing that says a certain percentage of the product has to be sold to retail customers. It's all bogus. They go by motive. Are you buying the product because you actually want it and you would have bought it anyway, even if there were no income opportunity? Or are you buying it primarily because you need to meet your quota in the compensation plan, and otherwise you would not have bought this? It's subjective and it's my opinion, but I cannot see any reasonable way that someone's buying that platinum package for any other reason than to qualify in the compensation plan. It would just seem ridiculous to me to buy it for any other reason. And for that matter, 4 24 packs of that energy drink, especially when you can get a lot more potent energy drink from the store for $1.50 now. My preferred brand is called Go Fast. It's kind of an off brand, not MLM. And nor do they have an affiliate program or anything, so I get paid nothing for saying this. But it's $1.45 in a 12-pack. And it's got all the stuff in there that gives you energy that I have a great time with and tastes great. So, again, the motive for buying these products to me is very suspect. And now they'll come back and they'll say, but we have 100,000 customers. They're saying that now. We have 100,000 customers. What they don't tell you is what they're using to define as customer, how long you have to stay on the books before they drop you as a customer. All these things that would make that or not make it an impressive number, they don't define. I asked them, they wouldn't answer. So if, and I suspect they are, but I'm going to count it as an if they're counting all the people that, now, because they define customer elsewhere in their compensation plan as someone, a preferred customer is someone who goes online, fills out a little form for free, and gets access to a bundle of these free products. Even if you don't use the free products, you simply filled out the form, they're counting you as a preferred customer. They have a customer qualification in their plan. To reach certain ranks, you've got to have 3 customers, or 7 customers, or 10 customers. But they're counting anyone that you know that you say, go just sign up for that thing. Take a few seconds, fill out the form. You don't have to buy anything or nothing. Just go out and fill out that form so I can count you as a customer. They'll count you as a preferred customer. If you do that, and then even recruit 2 people and get access to a back office, where else would want a back office but a distributor? You've got access to the back office. You've already recruited 2 people, but you haven't got the 3rd one yet, so you can't get anything from the comp plan, so you haven't filled out the IBO agreement yet. You're still counted as a customer. A customer with a downline, with the back office. So There's no way that's going to satisfy any state or federal regulator to satiate their need to see customers. What again is kind of ironic is they brag about this as all these other companies play games, they say, with how they define customers. Any distributor that hasn't recruited anybody for 3 months, well, they'll call them a customer. But this is some of the most gaming of that number I've ever seen. If again, in that 100,000 figure, if they're using the same definition for customer, they're just counting all the people that filled out that thing for free, and all these distributors who've recruited 1 or 2 people are still getting counted as customers. That's a completely unrealistic number as far as the number of actual customers. Customers, to me, is someone who has no interest in the income opportunity, no plan to be interested in it, and is buying that product just because of the value of the product. They just want the product. And I would like to see evidence of 1 person who's done that. I never want to be a distributor for this company. Don't want to make any money. I just want that platinum package. I'd like them to show me 1 person. I'd be surprised. So now there is an FTC letter. I want to bring this up because people say, why didn't he bring this up? There was an FTC letter floating around that somebody said where the FTC actually endorsed them and said a bunch of positive things about them. I don't look like on the FTC kind of letterhead with your numbers at the bottom. And I called the FTC because the FTC doesn't endorse people and praise them like this letter would show. And the FTC said, the guy I was talking to said, let me talk to my supervisor, got back onto the phone and said, my supervisor knows exactly what you're talking about. She's seen the letter. So they're already aware of it before I called them. And since then, by the way, all of the links I show in my review, I showed 7 links where this letter was at, have all been removed. They were promptly removed after my review was published, which is good. And I understand they put some language out to their distributors, like saying stop using this, and I can't find it anyplace else online. And of course, it was bogus. FTC confirmed it was completely bogus. It didn't go viral, didn't get used a lot. I'm concerned that it had been out there for almost 8 months before they found out about it, apparently from my review, and took it down, especially since they supposed to have this big compliance department. But I'm not so much concerned about that as it is the fact that the FTC just now knows their name. Okay? The FTC is kind of like the opposite of a Cheers bar. Okay? You don't want them to remember your name or know your name. But in this giant ocean of 1,000 MLM companies out there, the FTC had a little spotlight shined on this one called Wake Up Now, and they know their name. And considering everything else about this company, including, by the way, the fact that they keep telling their shareholders in these disclosures how much financial distress the company is in, all the money they're losing, and we may not be able to continue as a going concern unless we can get new funds in, which is all very appropriate language for their condition. They should put that in there. But then publicly to their distributors, they're talking about all their future growth and how excited they are and how optimistic they are and how much they are, quote unquote, making money. I got seen several times where you see their management talking about how they're making money while they're losing millions of dollars. So when what you're saying publicly to your distributors is completely different than what you're saying to investors, the SEC is the one that's probably not going to appreciate that, and obviously they're going to have their attention now because they're publicly traded. So, and even more than the FTC or the SEC, there are 3 other organizations out there that can even be more damaging, and they're called ABC, CBS, and NBC. And as they continue to grow, because they are definitely in a growth curve right now, they're in momentum. And with the aggressive way that they're also pirating distributors from other companies, and that's kind of what got these other companies sort of upset with them. A very aggressive way of trying to bring distributors over from other companies. That's got a lot of people upset too. So, I don't know if this company right now could withstand a negative expose on some tabloid television show either. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I haven't heard that it's happening or anything like that. I'm just saying they've got good counsel right now, and they really need to listen to them because it doesn't look like they are, or at least they're not implementing the changes they should make fast enough. So I'm not saying they're doomed or anything, but they need to make a lot of changes. They need to actually expand their product line to some other more tangible or legitimate products. And I've heard that the next disclosure they're going to put out is going to be audited, because all of their previous disclosures have not been audited by a third party. So we're publicly traded. We're going to show you our disclosures. Aren't we better than all these private companies? No, because you're not audited by a third party. We have to believe and trust you just as much as we have to trust anybody else that puts out their financial information. But now it is going to be, I understand, the next one is going to be audited by an independent third party, which is fantastic. So, so again, that's my recap of Wake Up Now. I obviously can't recommend this company right now, but again, they are under good. They've got some good advisors right now. I heard that they've got some willingness to clean things up, and who knows what they may look like a year from now. But right now, that company's not in great shape. So that's it. I'm done with Wake Up Now. I'm not going to say another word about them, and unless they want to say something about me, I might respond to whatever their rebuttal is or whatever. But other than that, I'm done. I'm moving on. Whatever you want to know, let me know what review you want. And it's like I said, I'm not going to do them for free anymore, but I will do video reviews, some short commentary, because this takes 30, 45 minutes, whatever I've been rambling on for. It won't take 5 months. I'll do some short little video commentaries of whatever you want to know about. And by the way, had I never been paid to do it, I probably would have done Wake Up Now anyway, at least a little video review, because so many people were asking me about them. That's the main criteria. People keep saying, well, then there's so many other companies out there that are far worse than Wake Up Now. Why don't you go after them? Because that's only one of the criteria. The other one is interest from you. No one's asking me about many of the other ones. Most of you want to know about these guys, and most recently it's been Ripplen and Lioness, and Ripplen's kind of off the radar now. No one cares about them. May still do Lioness, though. But whatever ones you want to know, let me know, and I'll do some video commentary on them. Next video, though, in the next few days, is going to be about these recent Ninth Circuit Court decisions, 2 decisions that are very impactful to the industry and extremely positive. I'll explain why and why you should be celebrating these things, why the industry should be celebrating them, why at every opportunity meeting and every convention right now, distributors should be dancing in the aisles and singing and chanting, and well, they already do all of that, but you know what I mean. We should be celebrating some great court victories here, and kind of missing the boat. So I'll explain that in the next video. See you here next time. Thanks for listening. Adios.